The 11th of August 2023, Senator Tim Lombard from Cork, he's a Fine Gael Irish senator in the Irish Parliament, Oireachtas as it is called. He was on the radio this morning. He was talking about government plans and programmes. He was talking about serial objectors. He said it doesn't make sense that somebody can come from 100 miles away or 300 miles away and object to a planning application in his area or any other area. I didn't hear that in the broadcast because I don't listen to the radio or the television in Ireland, but I had a person listening to it who tells me that there's a bill being introduced to try to bypass and stop the objections that are going in. Now, on the SEA, the Strategic Environmental Assessment Directive 20142 EC, which I'll bet you he never heard of. I'll bet you he never heard of the Environmental Impact Assessment Directive, or he never heard of the Aarhus Convention, or he never heard of an access to information on the environment request. While he was sleeping down and snuggling up about potholes to his own stupid constituents, I was learning the law that his government and his party brought in, and that's the Aarhus Convention on the environment, the ESPO Convention on transboundary projects, and on all the various different laws in relation to planning and EU law. And whether he likes it or not, whether you like it or not, Tim, and I'm now addressing this to him, you have no say in EU law. EU law is binding in Ireland, whether you like it or whether you don't. And whether the thousands of people in Ireland who support you like it or don't, I'm an old Cavan farmer with cows, and I have cost you at least $1 billion in money by informing the Irish people of what you're trying to get over and inform them of the law. And anywhere there is a few pound in a group, I steer them along so that they can challenge this in the courts and put the courts in the position that they can do nothing about it. Nothing about it. Right? Now, you can put that in your pipe and smoke it. You're a member of Fine Gael. You give the American Democratic Party at least €5 million, and I call on you to deny it. You give them that in the 2016 election to try and keep Trump out, and you failed. That's the fact of the matter. Come back and challenge it, or meet me if you want to. I've met enough politicians that they know about the illegality of what they're doing. Now, it may be that Tim Lombard was talking about planning for housing, because there's a big rush on for housing. And there's no reason why they can't comply with the SEA directive. The problem they have with the SEA directive is that for energy, for example, and housing, engineers used to set the format. They used to draw up the plans and programs from an engineering perspective with experienced builders and experienced engineers who compiled an environmental report, submitted it to public participation, took the submissions of the public into account and gave reasons for the decision, and subjected that decision to judicial review in the courts, right up to the Court of Justice of the EU, of the European Union. That's Article 3.2 of the SEA Directive, and all the various articles of the SEA Directive that says all government plans and programmes must be subject to an environmental report. They must be assessed with what I'm after telling you. Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, the whole lot of them, and Sinn Féin want to bypass the whole lot, and they damn near got away with it. But I lived my life in such a way that for the early part of my life I was working and rearing my family. Then I retired from that and started running my farm, and they can't get at me on the farm because I'm bulletproof. I can't be got at because they can't come and take much from me. They're trying to take my cows, but that's another issue. But they can't get at me, and I don't care two balls of blue about Senator Lombard or anybody else or the whole lot of us. On my own, together with a good solicitor in Cork that's not directly connected to me, but I did drive down to meet him and marked his card, and I think he's doing very good. Myself, Pat Swords, the engineer in Dublin, and we have a barrister as well. And we have educated any group that wants to be educated. Now, North-South Interconnector Group, the North-South Interconnector, Northeast Pile and Pressure Group, put me out of the meeting. They don't want me there. I don't know what's happening there. That'll be for another video. But most groups, and when I meet 10 groups, at least 5 of them will agree with me. 2 of them will not have the finances and will not be able to raise the finances to take this to court. And it's the other 3. And of them, you might only have 2 that'll take a judicial review. But if we get only 1 judicial review and we follow it the whole way up, We have them. Now, there's no reason why there can't be a strategic environmental assessment done on housing or on the various headings. It's housing, town and country planning, tourism, agriculture, fisheries, forestry, energy. And they don't want to do it for forestry, silviculture, because they're afraid that farmers will have to dig out their forests. Now, the first after me pushing this for years, and I made videos years ago, this is the law. Eventually we got a case in Belgium on a wind farm where the European Court ruled that the guidelines in Belgium, which are identical to the Irish guidelines, that the guidelines in Belgium are illegal, and that any wind farm that got a planning permission under it must be refused, and any wind farm that's already up there must be pulled down. And that has put the wind up them. That has put the wind up them. And that means that the pylons have to be pulled down if they're built. And it means also that anyone can go into court and fight it on this. And the whole planning authority is corrupt. Even he admitted this morning that Bord Pleanála is not fit for purpose. Well, why isn't he doing something about it? The reason is they're appointing yes men who are appointed by various vested interests, including the Wind Energy Association, and they're so damn bad that they're being prosecuted and jailed. So this is the situation you have. Now, I'm telling you, Mr. Lombard, you get your pencil out or your finger out and start getting engineers to do an environmental assessment on town and country planning. Draw up the various plans that you have. You haven't the brains to do it because you're a stupid idiot. And then when you have that done, you submit it to public participation under the Aarhus Convention and Article 6 of the SEA Directive. And you allow the public to make their submissions. You take those all into account. You rejig your environmental report until you get it reasonably good that's fit for purpose. In my own opinion, I'm for housing. I do agree with housing. There's certain things I mightn't agree with you or others on. I believe people should be allowed to build in the country if they have everything right. I do not agree with your stupid plans, idea that you can't put a chimney on a house and all of this old codology and your old stupid heat pumps and all this electric heating that's only a scam. Now, the thing about it is that you put it forward, and then when you get it done, there'll be judicial reviews. Somebody might take a judicial review. And in my own case, if it's done reasonably good, and you try your best with it, and even you make an odd mistake, I wouldn't be on for challenging it in the courts because I want to see houses built. But what you want, Mr. Tim Lombard, what you want is to ignore the whole thing and point the finger at me and ask the question is, why should I, a Cavan farmer with cows, be able to object to planning housing down in Cork? Well, the reason I'm doing it is to stop you and force you to realise that you have to comply with the law. And if you don't, we'll bait you. You think you have the High Court nobbled because you appoint the judges, and you may have, but we'll appeal above it. And the Friends of the Irish Environment appealed above that and went to the Court of Appeal, who wrongly ruled that this is nonsense. But they went to the Supreme Court, and all 7 judges referred it to the European Court of Justice, and I believe you haven't got a hope. This is on the energy. You haven't got a hope. You have to do the SEA. The EU cannot allow the SEA directive, their own principal directive, which was built into the fundamental laws of the EU and on which Ireland voted on, to be bypassed just like that. So we have you. I have you be the short and curlies. I'm telling you that now. And I'll be sending a link this down to you. And I will not give up. I will object. And the only reason I'm not objecting to most of these is I simply can only have a certain workload. I had a phone call this morning with somebody in trouble with a planning issue. I have there's a letter there. I can't show you the head, but there's a letter there. I can't show it to you too much because I don't want to identify the person. There's a letter there from down in the southeast. I'm getting these all the time and I'm advising. And you think you're going to cajole me into backing down? You're making a damn big mistake. You bloody idiot, you. A bloody idiot. You're making a big mistake. You can change the law. They changed the law and they put in a substitution in the Planning and Development Act. And when they went to try and get it through the courts, the judges said straight away, I think it was, I'll not just say who it was, I'll post it underneath. He said, no, that's incompatible with EU law. You're in the EU whether you like it or not. You're the one promoted it. And now you'll go by the rules. And I'll make you go by the rules. I'll hunt you down on your own stupid plans and programs and your wind energy like rats in a stone ditch. That's what you are. Now I want to meet you. You'll be in Dublin. I'll go up and meet you. I'll bring in 50 people with you. You're a scam artist. You can't house the people of Ireland because you refuse to comply with the law. You talk about democracy, and that's the democratic process. You don't want engineers having a say on anything to do with river basin management, water management, anything to do with the environment. You want to plough on. You have the Loch and Lay Mountain, a beautiful old ancient mountain with an ancient cairn on it up here beside me, and it's all the heather bulldozed out, a few trees planted. They cut them down. You want to see the mess that's there. You're leaving messes after you everywhere, and I'm on your trail. If God spares me health, I'll hunt you down now, I'm telling you that. I'll hunt your stupid bill down. We'll get it challenged in the court. At least half the groups in Ireland who are faced with this nonsense are onto me, and a lot of them have money, and a lot of them have realised that this is the law, and now we see what's happening. Ryan, your old stupid Minister for Energy, Eamon Ryan, and that old Leo Varadkar, your old Taoiseach, with his old hush puppies on him, he went tearing over to Ursula von der Leyen in the EU and said, we have to do something about this, and she told him, you can do nothing, that's the law. They're back now, they can't take no for an answer. The Wind Energy Association is baiting down their doors, the builders are baiting down their doors, all the nuck builders, all the cowboy builders, the decent builders are not beat. They want it done right. You cannot do an EI, you cannot build a housing scheme without an environmental impact assessment. It has to be if it's not for one-off houses, maybe not for a small little village, but any type of a big housing scheme. And if it's part of a national plan or programme and they allocate money for it, they have to do the SEA. And in the defence to Friends of the Irish Environment for not doing the SEA for energy, the government's excuse is that it's a budgetary matter. There's all they have. They're bet. They're beaten, and you're beaten, and you go now and make your bill, draw it up, we'll have a bit of fun with you, and we'll tear it to shreds. You're finished. You're not getting away with it. That's the way. You have a problem, you have a few people fighting this, but you have an old farmer with cows on your tail. And let's see who'll win. And am I enjoying this? You corrupt villains. The whole Fine Gael party is a den of corruption. And the whole Fianna Fáil the same. And you can do what you bloody like. You made the mistake of educating the farmer, and you made the mistake of thinking that we were going to vote for the EU and approve of all the checks and balances, and then let you take all away. I wish you luck with that. That's the way to handle them. Make them look stupid, ridicule them, use reverse psychology on them, call them out for what they are, and make them look so bloody silly. And even in a lot of the supporters, and some supporters say, who's that mad fella? Who's that mad fella? I don't care whether you think I'm mad or not. I'm on your house. That's it. Get that? Now, folks, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. What fun! That's the way to handle these rascals. Good luck. See you back. Thank you.